niner. Making contact at point 003. Another
Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm Ralph.
I'm James.
And today we're discussing The Mandalorian Chapter 1, The Pirate, with our guest, Eddie Pence. You know him, you love him. Eddie,
hey,
welcome
did you say
back.
Chapter 1, The Pirate?
21?
I got that as well. I thought maybe it was a delay, but no.
At least in Chapter 1, The Pirate.
We'll just
Chapter
start
21.
the whole thing over again. It's Chapter 1.
Hey, if we started from this point, I'd be on board, because I got to tell you guys, like, this is going to be the third week in a row I'm saying this, but this is my favorite episode of The Mandalorian.
They've gotten better. This season has gotten
been
better every week.
Yeah,
for
100%.
Completely. Yeah.
For those of you watching, James is in another country. He explained to us.
He didn't make his bed.
He explained to us before where he was, and we have no idea. And he's on a bit of a delay, which we're gonna work with, because we want James here.
I'm currently in Tenerife, which is one of the Canary Islands. It's southern Spain. It's off of Africa. The Wi-Fi in this room isn't the best, and as you can tell, I'm not using my normal mic. I'm in my AirPods, so if I sound funny, if I'm a delay, if I drop out at any point, if I'm making less sense than normal, that's why. That's my excuse this week.
Okay.
But I wasn't going to miss this, because it was a great episode.
It was really good. Before we get into it, I'm going to say hey to the chat. My sister Sarah's here. Lucha Johnny, who hasn't watched it yet, but he'll watch it later, says have a great show. Nick Dillinger, Scott D, Adam Frazier, and Stevie, my wife.
Hey.
And as always, StreamYard is here.
Oh, StreamYard.
with their sample, their sample. Oh, and Federalist. Man, this is Do we want to get into
one of those episodes, isn't it? Let's do it. We got loads of new people. Let's do it.
Yeah, they're popping in. Okay, Zeb. Like,
did you know it was Zeb straight away?
Yes, 100%.
I didn't know it was Zeb straight away. I just thought it took me a second. Like, I knew it was one of those. I knew it was his species. I just did not know it was.
Is it Lasat? Yeah.
I know it was Zeb.
There was no fanfare.
Yeah,
he just kind of walked into frame and just
that's why I thought.
I'm like, holy shit!
That's why I was like, oh, this is just one of his species. It's not Zeb. Otherwise, you would have had some sort of grand entrance being Zeb.
I was with you, Eddie. I was like, oh wow, they're showing off for Lasat, so that when they do Zeb, like probably in Ahsoka or something.
This is the test run for Zeb.
Yeah. If we need to tweak anything, we'll get it. But then you hear the Stephen Bloom voice, and it's like, nope, that's Zeb. That is 100% Zeb. And then I watched through the credits as well, and it is definitely Zeb.
My memory might be kind of messing with me, because watching Rebels, I watched it once. I watched through Rebels once, and I remember his character, but I might be mixing him up with Kilowog from Green Lantern and Green Lantern the animated series, where he's the last of his kind.
They are cousins.
They're very similar, but I kept thinking, Zeb's like the last of his kind, isn't he?
Not at the end. If you watch all the way through Rebels, they find where the last of that species set up a new planet.
Okay.
So there are more.
So in my brain, I was like, well, he's the last one, so that's him.
Yeah, they weren't completely wiped out. Yeah, it did.
Looked good.
That makes me excited for the Ahsoka series.
It looked really good. Definitely.
Yeah.
He was like, I feel like Zeb was the one that everyone was like, okay, cool. We've seen some of Hera from behind in the trailer. We know that they're going to do Sabine. Right. We know that Ezra's coming, but Zeb was the one that everyone was like, how are they going to pull that off in live action? Like because there's one of those guys in Jedi Fallen Order, That was
Yeah.
Cal Kestis's Jedi Master was one of
Yeah.
that species. So we've seen it like in the realistic style, not the animated style before.
Right.
But yeah, to see it on screen, it was like, yeah, great, perfect, and it just sort of sits in there nicely with the rest of the
And
aliens
we got
in
the-
that bar and everything. And
What was great is we got the wide shot, which showed the legs. Like he's got those.
Yeah, no, it's got the
sort
legs.
of.
Yeah.
Backward,
And this might be the most
like,
alien heavy episode of Star Wars since the Cantina scene.
right.
that was a ton.
There's
It was
all kinds of stuff.
Everyone
And
is an
droid heavy,
alien.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that they
I know
didn't
that
get
Adam
in
was
Andor.
very, very excited to see.
Right. Yeah, Adam on Twitter was like going on about every single thing that happened, and like all the droids were amazing and shiny and new. I like Grief Karga's droid, the orange and white one.
Yeah.
I liked is it Tavin, who's the pilot, the rebel pilot. He had the green droid. And then we got like a bunch of different protocol droids, different shapes and sizes. Yeah. But yeah, the pirate ship. There's a warthog man. we got Gorian Shard.
There's only like
we
3
got
humans
Niktos.
in the whole episode.
Right.
Right.
Right. And then we see Bo-Katan's face. So there's we see 3 people face or 4 people faces in
Yeah.
this.
Everything
something
else
like
is
that.
aliens or robots.
Yeah. Or Tim Meadows.
Or Tim Meadows, which was shocking.
Which there was rumors that he was going to be in it. And, they've been having comedians show up again. Eddie, you need to be in Mandalorian.
If you give me a number, I'll call.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll work
Give me
on
a
it.
number and I'll call.
But I really liked Tim Meadows because he wasn't speaking in a Star Wars cadence. He was just talking like Tim Meadows. He was just talking like a person. And you don't get a lot of that in Star Wars. Everyone's proper Jedi speak or military speak, and Mandalorians have their crazy cult sayings and stuff. He was just talking like a guy. He's like, hey, listen, I'm backed up in a corner. I can't do this. There's too much paperwork. There's too much red tape.
But that kind of shows how the Republic is in its early stages is faltering a little bit. It's not as strong as it should be, because you do have a guy who's just like, hey guys, I got all these discs on my desk. I'm backed up. We can't do anything. Fail at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not order. It's not set up the way it should be running. They're already, you can see the First Order coming.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Because they're in such disarray 5 years in already.
Right. Or just trying to get their, it's just trying to get their footing, because it can't be easy to just take over a whole galaxy and everything be cool.
And not rule with an iron fist the way the Empire did.
Right.
That's it. He's I think he is sympathetic to what's going on Navarro, but as he sort of says, he's like there are member planets that are backed up that we're telling
spread
that
thin.
They have to wait. Yeah, totally.
It's a big task.
You kind of have to hope that people like Navarro have the best intentions.
Right.
You're hoping they're okay, if you have to trust people like Grief Karga enough to be okay, hopefully those people can do good and be cool and not get into space battles long enough for us to get to their paperwork.
But you get enough of those pirate attacks and in the Outer Rim, people start getting you know what, you guys don't care about us. We need someone to come in here and protect us, and that you can see how the First Order took a foothold and was able to come back, because the Republic was so small, not able to protect the mid rim or the outer rim, and it's they were begging at one point, no, we need protection. Yeah. So it's and what's his face is dropping those hints the whole time. I've got the pilot, who's the rebel pilot. I can never think of his name.
Tiva, is it?
I can't think of his
Carson Teva.
That guy. Carson. But he's he's hinting it. He was hinting it in season 1, all the way back in season 1. There's something going on out here. Something is wrong, and you could tell there's some sort of plan in the outer rim or the mid rim to get these systems to distrust the Republic, and beg for some sort of law and order.
And then what's her name's in the mix? Oh my gosh,
Kane,
Elia Kane,
Elia Kane.
She she's there being just like pointing it out. But the problem is she worked for the Empire. And so seeing her was a lot of fun. She's still around, and she's kind of moved up in the ranks to where she's in this sort of smaller home office as opposed to being on Coruscant. Well, I guess they're still on Coruscant, but her job is dealing with these kind of issues.
When did they get the U-Hauls and move to Hosnian Prime? When is that episode?
When is that? I mean,
let's see the moving episode.
I think later on they start like bouncing around. The Republic capital moves around, so they're on Coruscant for a while, they're on Chandrilla for a while, they're on Hosnian.
Is it
at the time?
Is it because of the First Order?
I don't think it's because of the First Order. I'm not sure. It's all in Bloodline. I haven't read Bloodline in a while, but they talk about it in that book.
I feel like we should be getting pretty close to seeing some First Order things happening. I feel like we
don't know. We're still only 5
years,
like Jedi 7. Well, if it was 5 years at the beginning of the series, and I guess 2 years have passed since Book of Boba Fett and Grogu's training.
We're just
We've still got like 20 years to play with.
Yeah. But I feel like with Moff Gideon, because when they saw the Imperial shuttle, I immediately thought, oh, we're going to see like Thrawn or something. We know Thrawn's coming, right? Thrawn has to show up at some point, whether if not in this, in Ahsoka. And I feel like he's probably going to be key with the First Order forming. So it feels like it.
You would think.
I don't know. It does feel like it a bit. And they could go like the one of two ways. It's either Thrawn is like integral to the rise of the First Order, or they have it as Thrawn is the culmination of everything that they're doing here, and then once that's squashed, that's when the First Order rises up, or they're rising up in the background, and Thrawn is almost like a distraction that has kept the New Republic from paying any attention to what's going on over there.
Yeah. You know who I'd like to see in this series?
I think after the Battle of Jakku, if I remember rightly, like it's sort of some of the old Empire are like spread off. They go off into like the unknown regions, and that becomes the First Order, and then the other part are like your Moff Gideons, your potentially Thrawns or whatever, who are sticking around sort of in galaxy.
I'd like to see General Pride show up.
Yeah.
I really like this character in Rise of Skywalker, but he kind of like showed up last minute. I'd like to get more with him.
Way last minute.
Yeah. And apparently he's been around the pretty much since the Empire. So
I'd like to see Hux's dad. Hux's dad. Because if you read the Aftermath books, he's integral in that series of training the new First Order troopers and such like that, and then maybe see a young Hux too would be kind of
cool. A little kid.
Yeah.
Little kid Hux.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. So you get Brendan Gleeson to play that character, right?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Get Donald Elliott's.
That'd be great.
Or Gleason's dad. Elliot.
He'd be a really good like warlord in the Empire.
Yeah, see, this is the thing with this episode is that I really don't like the episodes where it's just Mandalorian fighting a monster the whole time. The last week's, was it last week or the week before, where I think it was last week, where they're just fighting the dragon the whole time.
Yeah.
But we got the shit in the middle with Keller and Beck, which was fucking amazing. But I like seeing this side of things. Like one of the things that I liked the most about Andor was to kind of see the inner workings of how the Empire worked. From like sort of clerical standpoint, from like
it's
low
just a
level
different side. It's a
jobbers.
We've seen the monster fights. So we've seen like one giant CGI fight. We've seen 1,000 times. We haven't seen. Yeah. That's what was so great about Andor, which was like, I call it grown up Star Wars because it's what it felt like. It's like, it's that Star Wars that we all thought we were going to get when Episode 1 came out. Like, oh, our generation is now ready for this Star Wars. But no, you're still making it for kids. But at the same time, it's nice to get Andor where you're like, oh, this is what Star Wars could be. And then,
but between the Pershing episode and this episode, I'm really enjoying seeing the inner workings of how the New Republic is working out, and how it's like it's kind of a shit show.
And the warning signs,
Yeah.
of the New Republic, which is great because you have to see that stuff. That it can't just be the First Order comes back and takes over. There's got to be a reason the Republic failed.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody should be listening to Kane. She knows. I mean, she knows.
Yeah. Why are they going to her all the time? Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. But it was like what? It's like shit. The Nazi scientists, where America took them and said, "Hey,
Operation Paperclip."
Yeah, exactly. And I think I just heard about that on the Ralph Report.
Yeah.
Like I know that story, but you guys mentioned it again. But
we wanted to beat Russia to the moon, so we had to bring in the Nazis.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to, like, the Empire ruled for probably almost 25 years, something like that, for a while, and they had everything set in place to do that. But now trying to get everybody to convert to good guys, it's kind of tough. So you need some of those folks to show you sort of how they were able to organize this stuff. But I mean, they're trying to do it without, ruling with an iron fist and force. So it's kind of like, oh shit, well, the hippies won. Now what? Like that was the whole thing. Was Star Wars was like Vietnam.
Well, I mean, the Old Republic was the 1,000 years of them ruling with, senators and all this stuff. And then the Empire comes in and wipes out Tarkin takes out the Senate, and the governors all rule their territories. And then you take out all the governors, so it's just mass chaos. So how do you reestablish some sort of representational democracy in a place that's been ruled by warlord governors? It's impossible.
Floppy disks and paperwork.
It's impossible.
Yeah. But again, that's why I love this episode, because we're getting shit like that. Like I it's hard doing this podcast when it's like the only thing you have to talk about is them fighting a mudhorn, and it makes it really tough, because I mean, I'm not going to talk about mudhorns for that long, but
it was cool to see the Mandalorians in action, like what it. We've never really seen a full-on Mandalorian assault before, and this was kind of cool to actually see that.
It felt like action. Black Hawk Down.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah. I thought it was really, really well done. The action was fun,
right?
And it's probably because they weren't fighting a CGI monster.
Yeah,
it was them in the streets shooting it like Quarren and
my only issue is
really good masks.
My only issue was I would have liked to see, since the Mandalorian, we've all heard for decades about how great of a fighting culture this is. They just gone in there and wiped out the pirates, no problem, not being pinned down or anything. They should have gone in and just taken out the pirates, because they're Mandalorians.
Yeah.
These other guys are.
But these guys, they're so beaten down at the moment. That's I think that's what they're getting to. I think by getting Bo's old people, the one like why she got sent off at the end to go and reunite everyone. It's like they're getting back to that point. I think they're still on the rise back to that peak that they have been at in the past.
I love how they're showing Bo-Katan as continuing to show Bo-Katan as the true leader of Mandalore. Like every time she has an opportunity to assert herself as the leader, she does, and she succeeds. To show that she's great.
Yeah. I love her. And the thing is, like a lot of fanboys online are going ape shit because I thought this was the Mandalorian, not the Bo-Katan show. The same way they're complaining about how I thought this was the Book of Boba Fett, not the Mandalorian show. Like, guys.
Yeah, but who is really the Mandalorian?
Shut the fuck up.
Is it maybe Bo-Katan is really the Mandalorian?
I love Bo-Katan.
Because she's from Mandalore.
There's an argument to be made that Grogu is
Din is a foundling. He's not even a true Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So maybe she's the Mandalorian, and that's what this whole series has been leading up to her reclaiming the Darksaber and becoming the leader of Mandalore.
It's hilarious that the armor is like, take off your helmet. And I was with her. I'm like, is this a trick? Is she going to take off her helmet and then the armor's going to say, hey, she took off her helmet. She's not one of us.
You're out again.
Don't listen to her. But fucking the look on Din's face, mask, helmet was like, holy shit, she gets to take her mask off. What about me? I'm taking my mask off.
Breaking out under this thing. I thought the armor was going to take her mask off, and that was going to be the break where it's like, okay, these guys, this sect of the Mandalore are going to try to move forward and get out of the past. But no, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, this was like the nicest thing that the armor's done, because this whole season, I feel like she's been like kind of becoming the main villain of this whole thing. But it sounds like she's taken some time to think about Bo saying that she saw the mythosaur, and I was like, you know what? I think I believe her. I think she might be. I think she might be the one to lead us.
Yeah, that was her having Bo can't take her helmet off. Was her passing the torch, like, you lead us now, not me, you.
Yeah.
I think it's still coming. I think they're using each other. I think that the more that she's with them, Bo-Katan is believing in the creed and the way and everything. And I think that the armor is relaxing a little bit and understanding that there needs to be everyone coming together, but she's still hardline. I think there's gonna be a power struggle between the two of them.
She had the owl thing on her left shoulder, and the armor put the mythosaur on her right shoulder. And so she's probably coming to grips with, like, listen, it is about banding together. It is about, there might be more than one way.
Yeah.
I would love to see this cult kind of realize, like, okay.
Well, for the survival of them, they need to come together.
I was kind of hoping that, like, when Bo got on the ship, they all took their helmets off. And it was like a ton of famous people, like John Hamm and
Brad Pitt,
and like Scarlett Johansson. It was like the Avengers. How amazing would that have been?
Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans.
100%. 100%.
Great. That'd be great.
Yeah. And then you just put the helmets back on, because I don't know if Pedro Pascal even shows up for this, or just does
I think
the voice,
he does maybe a week. Yeah,
I don't. Yeah. Maybe the final. I don't know.
The other two guys are credited now. Like they are a lot higher up in the.
It's
credits,
mostly Brendan Wayne, I believe, doing everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other guy does the.
The other guy does the stunt.
He comes in, does the kicks.
Fett says that Tim Meadows in a Star Wars Office type show on Disney Plus. Yeah, totally. I'd watch it.
I'll put that on ABC.
With Kane as Dwight, 100%.
We were saying that we want Eddie in a Star Wars because there's comedians popping up left, right, and center. And now that we've seen Zeb, I think Eddie, you'd be a really good Callus. Agent Callus, shaving shaving the mutton chops, and then
love to be Agent Callus.
I could see it. That'd be great.
I'd settle for like Rebel Pilot if I see Eddie up there as a Rebel Pilot, or I guess they're now actually Resistance pilots, because when Carson was getting into his X-wing after talking with the Mandalorians, it played the Resistance theme, John Williams' Resistance theme, so that's cool. Now I don't know if we talk
New Republic, but some of them are going to join the Resistance, surely.
Yeah. So I have a question, and I don't know if we talked about this, Eddie, when you were on. I feel like it was something we talked about. Is R5's involvement with the rebellion? It was brought up again in this,
right?
Which I thought was great, because I was like, oh shit, which one of these Mandalorians gonna have is gonna like take it off as Luke Skywalker? But when R5 rolled in, I was like, that's fun. Because there was that old story from like Dark Horse, I think, Skippy the Jedi or whatever it was called, Skippy the Droid Jedi.
Skippy the Droid Jedi.
It was R5D4.
There was that one, and
sabotaged his motivator, so that the Lars would purchase R2,
right? And
that he was secretly working for the rebellion. Like, that's old weird canon.
Yeah, but that's what Favreau pulls from to make this show.
So yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Do you think that's going to be,
or is it just another nod and wink to that? Who knows? If it's
they used that story. That story was like nodded and winked to in the From a Certain Point of View book. But in that, instead of it being like a droid Jedi thing, they had it as R2 spoke to him and asked him. He's like, "Look, do me a solid. if they go for you, blow your motivator or do something, sabotage yourself, so that like because I've got important information. Like they were cool with each other. They like had met and stuff. So
love it.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
it was
better than
a
him
thing
being a
that
Jedi.
They play Sabacc.
Yeah.
Sabacc buddies.
But it was like even in the credits for that book, it was like a nod back to that old story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope we get to meet somebody named Manny Bothans at some point.
Still haven't seen one. We still haven't seen a Bothan on screen. It's nuts.
I want to meet Manny Bothans.
That's his name, Manny.
Yeah. It's not Manny, it's just Manny. One guy died.
Well, I mean, they're doing a certain point of view for Return of the Jedi coming up. So maybe he'll be in there.
It's Manny. Manny Bothans.
It's his last day.
Manny
Bothans' real bad day.
Really bad, very bad, no good day.
Speaking of bad days, do you think Gorian Shard is dead? Is that the last we've seen him on?
Yeah.
You think so?
Like,
he fried his brain completely and he died?
You think
took all that cloning knowledge with him?
No, Shard. I think Shard's like.
Hold on. Which wait, I don't. Is Shard? Wait, no. Is Shard part of the cloning thing?
I'm confused now. The names I get mixed up.
Okay, Gorian Shard is the fucking swamp thing.
Oh yeah, he's done.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done. I'm talking about who's the scientist guy that what's her face?
Pershing.
Yeah,
Pershing.
Is he done?
Pershing.
Yeah.
Is he completely a vegetable?
No, I think we'll see him again. I think so, he might be a bit like.
He might be with Gideon.
I think we'll see him again.
He might be with Gideon.
Maybe.
He might have helped Gideon escape.
But we're seeing his brain get mushed as we fade out of that episode. So.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think all the good feelings that he was having for the New Republic are probably going to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that Mon Cal can deal with it, then he can.
The completely inept New Republic doctors who are just like, yeah, you're an ex-Imperial. Just stay in here with all the controls. It's fine.
I mean, I wonder if because everything again is leading up to cloning Palpatine for Rise of Skywalker. I mean, this whole everything that Disney has done since Rise of Skywalker has been to retcon to make Rise of Skywalker more palatable for people.
Right.
So Bad Batch
somehow.
I know we don't talk about anime, but Bad Batch they're really going after the little clone. What's her face? I can't think of her name.
Omega
or whatever.
Because
Omega. They're really after her in this thing. There's a heavy cloning thing in this last couple episodes of the Bad Batch, and now you've got the scientist who they flayed his brain. And are we going to see a live action Omega at some point in one of these Ahsoka or Mandalorian series where she's sort of been taken by the First Order or whatever and use that as some sort of cloning thing? Because that's got to be leading up to something that's going to skip over the original.
All the pieces are there. Because even in the Mandalorian last season, they showed on Navarro those caves that Pershing was in, and it looked like a Snoke in there, and we've seen what looks like a Snoke in Bad Batch.
Yeah,
and we know from the first episode they're cloning Jedi cells
and they're trying to clone Force-sensitive clones, and is Omega part of that?
Yeah.
Even in Obi-Wan, when we saw that, like in Vader's castle, he had like a whole room of like dead Jedi and stuff like that. It's like it's a different time and everything, but it's like the Empire.
They're in like an amber. They're in like an amber, like Jurassic Park. So they're really yes. The line where Poe Dameron says somehow Palpatine's returned. They're now spending so much money on animated shows
on trying to get that to be like, oh, that line doesn't sound stupid.
Yeah,
right. But from Poe Dameron's point of view, like he doesn't fucking watch Bad Batch.
He hasn't watched.
No, he has no idea.
He just fucking watch that show. He might catch up on Mandalorian, maybe, but that was, again, you have 20 years of wiggle room for this I'm here for it because I'm gonna say I love Rise of Skywalker, and I never had a problem with Palpatine's return because they just were like, fuck it, he's back.
If you read the expanded universe at all, I don't. They've always I'm saying back then, like even
we've been doing it forever.
Yeah, they've been doing. I mean, there was a clone of Palpatine before. There's a clone of Luke Skywalker. I mean, there was clone. They've cloned themselves before. It's not like this is nothing new. It just hadn't been introduced.
Everyone going and saying like, everyone going in and saying, oh, they should have just done the Thrawn trilogy. Fuck the sequels and stuff. It's like the Thrawn trilogy was full of clones of like people coming back and stuff.
Was that where Luke came from?
Yeah, Luke.
Exactly. They cloned him from his hand. It was,
it's true.
They've been doing it forever.
But so, okay, this is the thing that gets me is that nobody's wondering where Gideon is, but they all know he's probably not there. And they found the ship on this episode and he's not there. Like, it seems like no one's really concerned.
And they found, Beskar armor in that shuttle. So he was, is this Death Watch? Did Death Watch? Is Death Watch around? Did they get Gideon?
I was thinking it was something along the lines of like, it's Imperial stormtroopers. Sand people always ride single file. Like it's almost like they planted evidence to guide people off the track. Maybe it is someone like Thrawn, and Thrawn would be like, "I have Beskar, put this at the scene." And then they'll think.
But are the Mandalorians even a blip on the map to anybody, where they would have to want them to think it was the Mandalorians that did it? They're so scattered and fractured. Like, why would they try to frame the Mandalorians for taking Gideon to the New Republic?
Because they're secretly building the First Order.
I
don't know. It's weird. Also, why would a Mandalorian leave? I don't know why they would leave Beskar around.
Either Thrawn or it's going to be the armorer is actually maybe like got some more secrets, and maybe she was responsible because he was the last person to have won the Darksaber and she wants it or something there. If there is a big villain turn coming for her, then I can see her being involved in it. But I don't know if that is going to happen at this point.
We'll see. I think it's strange that they left Beskar behind.
Yeah.
You can use it to make more.
It seems suspicious.
Or maybe it's a Bo-Katan turn. Maybe Bo-Katan sent whatever, because she's alone in her castle and all of her Mandalorians have left. Maybe they went to go get Gideon.
She's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. She's my favorite.
Maybe so she can win the Darksaber from, because she has unfinished business with Gideon that we never saw.
Right.
Because he apparently took the Darksaber from her.
But she would have probably just killed him. She wouldn't.
Well, she has to beat him in battle, and she's not around. So maybe she has to take the Darksaber from him. So maybe she got her whatever Mandalorians that were with her to go get Gideon to bring Gideon to her so she could take the Darksaber from him. I don't know. This could be a heel turn for Bo-Katan.
This is so much more exciting than fighting Mudhorns.
Yeah, completely. Adam's theory here is that Gideon got the Darksaber and then some Mandos pledged allegiance almost immediately to him, and that these are his guys.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's like Death Watch or something.
Yeah. Okay. We saw the Super Commandos, the Mandalorian Super Commandos with the Empire in Rebels, so it could be like another batch of them, sort of thing.
And that's Brad Pitt.
Was it Gar Saxon?
That's Brad.
Guard Saxon. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a sect of them that were had allegiance to the Empire.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, they mentioned it was an alloy and not pure, which means it isn't real Mandos. See, I don't catch stuff.
I think Adam's onto something. Something there.
Right. It's terrific. It's so good. I can't believe how good this episode was. Like I was like watching it, and I'm like,
it's so nice hearing Ralph excited to watch Mando.
Because it's story. Like that's all I asked for is story. Yeah. And the first episode, I was like, oh man, it's all set up. And then there's a couple of monster fighting ones, which is fine.
First episode, I was like, I was worried about this season after that first episode, and then.
Right.
Then
they probably
once you saw the Mythosaur, I'm like, okay. Yeah, they should have dropped 2. Because that second episode, you see the Mythosaur, and you're like, all right, this is different.
Yeah.
Because he bathed in the waters of Mandalore in episode 2, which you thought was going to be all of season 3, him getting there and doing that. And you're like, oh, they got that out of the way. Now we're moving. Where are we going?
This episode does it so well because it it brings in all the different storylines that we've been getting. Like every different thing that we've seen this season is in this episode, and it's doing it in a way that is, it's not just, oh, here's what we're all doing. It's building on top of the layers that are already there, and it's because it's all still focused on Din, even when like half the episode is gone before we even get to the culvert sort of thing. It's doing it really well. It's excellent. It was a dense episode. There was so much in this episode.
It was like
and guess what?
3 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. So next week is a 44-minute episode, and it's Bryce Dallas Howard's.
Oh.
So awesome. I'm hoping for some good ass stuff. Because
8 episodes this season 2? Are they doing 8 episodes this season 2? So we have 3 more?
Yeah.
This season, yeah. Did you guys see, was Trapper Wolf in that cantina with Zeb?
I didn't see.
I saw the cowboy hat.
Was he?
He was in the foreground. Hat? The focus was in the background. Yeah. The other 2 pilots were Deborah Chow and what's his name? The other director, who's Rick Famuyiwa. They were.
So it was all directors and Zeb.
They were at the bar. Yeah. The other pilots that we've seen with Carson Teva in different shots and stuff, that's their base. It's the Adelphi base. Like, it looks cool, and their music Malibu is different, and I really appreciated that. Yeah, like it's wicked.
Yeah,
so we get source. We get a Rebel pilot.
We get a sound drop. We get a soundtrack, and we get a needle drop from Star Wars, like the Star Wars universe. Like it was like a country song.
Yeah.
That they used as a needle drop, but it was like I kind of dug it. I'm sure they're going to post that on iTunes real quick. but I kind of dug it because I'm like, it like cut to this planet and they started playing this like country music. I'm like, is this like a Ford commercial? Is this like, are they going to sell me trucks?
You haven't heard anything like that since I think Force Awakens when they went to Maz Kanata's place. It was like the first time you heard something so different.
And
it definitely sounded like
I really liked it. And it set up the cowboy hat, our first cowboy hat, I believe, in Star Wars. I mean, Cad Bane kind of has I don't know, but I saw the cowboy hat. I'm like, that's weird. And I'm like, oh, I think that's Filoni. Oh, wait, he's Trapper Wolf. But
there was another cowboy hat as well. One of the pirates had a cowboy-looking hat, and then he got it like smashed in when some of the Mandalorians got there.
Who do you think we're going to see? We have 3 episodes left, and we saw Zeb. Do you think who do you think anybody else from
It's got to be Sabine.
Series? Are we going to see Boba? Are we going to see? Is there going to be an original series? Are we going to see another Luke Skywalker? Are we going to see a young Han Solo, a young Leia? Are we going to see?
No. I don't want Han Solo. But I
don't either. But like, what are they going to do in that last episode?
I could see Boba Fett popping up.
But I feel like they got the right Indiana Jones has a good.
Well, that's why when I saw this episode, I saw pirate. I'm like, are we going to see Han Solo in this? Like when I saw the title of this episode, I'm like, are we going to see that? Are we going to see some sort of nod or wink to Han Solo or the Falcon or something? We didn't, but I'm just curious to see which original characters we're going to see.
I'm not excited about the CG people.
Neither am I, but I'm just saying.
But
season 2 ended with Luke. How do you top that? How do you
that trailer for Dial of Destiny and seeing age appropriate Harrison Ford to this era as well?
Yeah,
like this is space 1986 or something, or
he's
88?
In his like mid 40s at this point.
So that Indy footage, the de-aged Indy looks about around this time.
Or are we going to see a 6-year-old Kylo Ren? Or Ben Solo.
What if it's both of them? That's not going to happen. It can't happen. But we can see Chewbacca.
I think Chewie. I was going to say Chewie. I think Chewie is more likely of like the original trilogy.
Listen, I hate the cameos of the week. I hate the cameos.
So
of the week.
So do I. But like they did
Zeb
it in season
great.
2.
But dude, original trilogy characters, I'd lose my shit. 100%.
I think
I'd lose my shit.
I think the equivalent of like the Luke reveal in season 2 will be maybe the rest of the Ghost crew, or like if the New Republic
something leading directly into the
Ghost leading the charge,
or Chewbacca leading him to the Ghost crew.
It's it's General Syndulla with Sabine there as well, and maybe Ahsoka,
I feel like
maybe
Sabine
Boba Fett.
needs
Maybe
to be.
it's well, Sabine would make sense because she's got
maybe
like,
Sabine's the one who got Gideon. Because Gideon took the Darksaber from
see any spray paint in there?
I don't know. We didn't. Maybe we gotta go back and look at that scene. Maybe there's some spray paint on the wall. But maybe she's the one who did that.
Could be.
And she went and captured Gideon to take him back to Bo-Katan. Yeah, the ghost could have been the one that shot up the ship. I don't know. So much.
Because they're trying to get to Thrawn. They're using Gideon to get to Thrawn.
Yeah.
To find Ezra.
Yeah. It all ties together. We just solved it.
Which they probably solved like years ago. And they probably already shot it. And we're way off. It's too late for them to watch live action Star Wars and then change their show. God damn it. It's just going to lead to disappointment. That's all it does.
That's what we can't be married to our fan theories. We just have to make them up and then let them go.
Yeah. But if we do see Chewbacca, I'm going to lose my shit. If Chewbacca's hanging out with Zeb, like, that'd be amazing because Zeb was like the proto Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ralph McQuarrie's version of what Chewbacca was in. Yeah. Oh my God.
And Filoni is just rock hard trying to make that happen. Just in Favreau's ear the whole time. Look, we have to have Chewbacca and Zeb in the same scene.
They can do anything they want.
Yeah.
They can do literally anything they want. They put Luke Skywalker in their goddamn show.
That's what I'm saying. What are we going to see? They put Luke in. I didn't think I would see that.
Easier.
Chewbacca's so much easier.
Yeah. Chewbacca's way easier. Yeah, Scott D loves the delayed laugh on James. It's great. It's been fine so far. It's been good. I don't know. I don't have much more to say about this episode. We've only been going at it 40 minutes. But if what we can do is talk about the next episode, what we hope to see. Do we think we'll get maybe a flashback of what happened on Gideon's ship?
And are we going to get more of a story of what happened with Grogu, where he went?
Oh man, that whole thing.
Maybe.
Like, because that's got to get resolved in the next 3 episodes. We have to see where Grogu went. And
there's probably going to be another season.
Yeah. What happened to Ahmed Best? Something had to happen to him.
Oh my God, I still want Jar Jar to be stowed away on that ship.
What if he hands Grogu to Jar Jar?
I would be fine with that.
Come on.
Why haven't we seen, listen, I know Jar Jar got shit on and everything, but why don't we see Gungans just as background characters? It's crazy.
Yeah, they have really driven them out of the universe.
I don't like that. I really don't like that. Bring back
Jar Jar. We could.
I think next week. I think either next week or the week after, we're going to get a mostly Bo-Katan heavy episode with her going around and picking up her old crew and any other sort of scattered Mandalorians. We might get a cameo from Boba Fett.
But the way they do this show, it's like they have a heavy episode of one character, and the next week when you think it's going to go into that character, you go a completely different direction.
Right.
And then they catch up the week after. So I think next week we may go back to the Grogu situation or something like that, and then pick up in the final 2 episodes.
Bo-Katan was introduced. Bo-Katan was introduced last season in Bryce Dallas Howard's episode, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could see her. Yeah. I could see her doing a thing with Bo-Katan. But man, people are going to be so pissed.
And Bryce Dallas Howard directed that Boba episode where it was Mando with the Darksaber. That whole Mando episode.
Yeah.
That was Bryce Dallas Howard with the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Fuck. Why doesn't she have her own series?
We haven't seen the Darksaber hardly since episode 2. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a lot of stuff going on for 3 more episodes.
They've got something that they've got a Bryce Dallas Howard led show sort of in the pipe already. Like they're working on it. They're just waiting to announce it in a couple of weeks at Celebration or something. Maybe she's doing the big culmination of whatever's going on with Thrawn after Ahsoka.
Fuck. Yeah. Do we know who's been cast as Thrawn? Has there been?
It's not who voiced him.
But Thrawn is in the series, right?
What's that?
Do we know that Thrawn's going to be involved in this? They've said Thrawn's involved. Is it all rumors?
I think he's definitely.
I think it's been heavily. Yeah.
You
can't have an Ahsoka series without Thrawn. It should be Pierce Brosnan.
I mean, yeah, especially if they're centering around the Ghost.
Well, her episode in Mando season 2, she was hunting for Thrawn, so it has to be about Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if it was Pierce Brosnan. I like Pierce Brosnan.
I think Mikkelsen. I think all of the it's not Mads. It's Lars Mikkelsen. I think he's protesting too much that he's not in it. I think it will be.
He's going to be in it.
They're going to go with Lars Mikkelsen.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Scott D mentions John Hamm here. John Hamm would be an interesting choice. He'd be fun. John Hamm just needs to be in Star Wars, I think. Somewhere.
Well, I think he should be a Mando. Maybe he could, because he voiced Boba Fett in some audiobook.
Oh, he did.
And people did artwork of what that would look like, and it's like, fuck, that's awesome. Like, what if he's like the head of Dark Watch or whatever? Dark Watch, Black Watch,
Death Watch.
Yeah.
Death Watch. Yeah.
I feel like they can get anybody. Anybody should be on the show. If you can get Tim Meadows. And then there was rumors also, when the rumors of Tim Meadows happened, there's also rumors of Christopher Lloyd.
He has been confirmed for this series, hasn't he?
Right. We haven't seen him.
I think he is.
I'm trying to think
he has been.
Be. I don't see him as Thrawn.
I think he's going to be an old timey Mandalorian guy. I think.
Oh my God!
Christopher Lloyd.
Stick him in that armor.
Can you imagine how cool that would be?
He seems. Did you see that movie Nobody? He seems so rickety.
I know it's acting. The guy in the heavy armor. He takes off the heavy armor guy. Takes off his helmet. It's Christopher Lloyd.
With Jon Favreau's voice coming out of it.
Yeah.
All of his white hair.
I'm there for it. Yeah, he's got dark brown hair. And it's static clings as he takes the helmet off. I can't wait. You guys have anything else? I think I'm good. I mean, it's a little bit short of an episode, but
I'm gonna go back and rewatch the episode.
There's plenty that I could talk about, but if I talk for more than 30 seconds at a time, it sounds like I'm underwater. Well, it doesn't sound like I'm underwater, but the delay is so bad that we'll
been
catch
fine.
up with it next week.
There's been a couple of things, but you've been good. Is there anything that really stands out that you want to say?
I've missed quite a lot of you guys.
Oh, that's fine. We have nothing interesting.
There's
nothing. Okay, so then let's do this. Let's have Eddie do his plugs. Are you at Flappers tonight?
No, that was this past Sunday.
I knew that. I'm a bad fan.
It's not important.
But you're at Flappers a lot lately, which is great.
Yeah, they're one of the clubs that books me. They're one of the clubs that books me. So it's everything is cyclical. So right now,
if you're in the Burbank area, go see Eddie.
Yeah,
I should do that.
You
performing this weekend?
Nothing this weekend. I have some stuff coming up in April, but nothing right now.
Okay.
The rest of the week.
Yeah, I'll have to get up to a show.
Yeah.
It's fun. And then the Ralph Report is on hiatus this week, but
we're back.
Monday
I think we're
Friday.
back Friday. We're coming back Friday. I'm on patreon.com. I don't
just take the day off.
The whole week off. He's like that. Yeah. He's a weirdo workaholic. I'd be like, one day, fuck it. Just take the whole week. But,
maybe he feels guilty or something.
I think he does.
But for those of us that follow the Ralph Report on Patreon, we don't care. Take a break.
I know. But that's
let
him.
people catch up on older shows.
That's him.
All right. Anything else? The unspecial comedy special?
Oh, yeah. If you have Amazon Prime, I'm on Amazon Prime, my comedy special. And then just go to eddiepence.com for any other thing. All my other socials.
Can confirm it's in the UK as well. It's on the UK Prime.
Oh, nice.
You have some Star Wars content in there.
I have like 5 minutes on Han Solo being a dick.
Yeah. Which he is. If he comes back, listen, I'm not going to be mad. Because last time we saw Luke, he looked so good. He looks so good. So if they do that with Harrison Ford, I'm going to be bawling like a little
I just think they're going to try something like that just to try to up what they did in season 2, whether good or bad. It makes more sense for it to be the crew of the Ghost.
Han Solo interacting with the crew of the Ghost is going to break my brains. That doesn't compute.
You see the Falcon and the Ghost next to each other.
But it's got to make sense because Luke coming back to get Grogu made sense. Like you saw Luke. It didn't feel forced. It wasn't like, hey, look, we got a CGI Luke. It felt organic to the story. It felt like that's the natural progression. Grogu's going to go with his own kind. Luke's rebuilding the Jedi Order. That makes sense. To have Han Solo Leia would make more sense because the New Republic.
If they're pirates or if they're getting chased by pirates and the Falcon swoops in out of nowhere, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And if it's a case of like the New Republic have said, no, you can't go and help out, but General Solar's like, fuck that. Of course I'm going to go and help out anyway. Like he would just disobey the orders and go in regardless.
But it has to make sense and not feel forced. Like we're just trying to do it. The way they did with Luke was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know what I realized right now, and we're like deep into the show.
You didn't record it?
Is
we're not broadcasting.
No, it's live. Our logo wasn't up there. Did you notice our logo wasn't up there?
All these people were wondering what the show was.
I did that last week. I took the logo down because after the episode we were watching something from the movie I'm working on, and the logo was blocking the thing. So we're good. Eddie, everybody, go follow Eddie.
Check me out.
And I can't wait.
This is good. I'm excited about the next 3 episodes. Just to see where this goes. What's the next series after this? Is it Ahsoka? Is that what we're getting next?
Yeah. So we're getting So
this
they've
is
already
lead
tested
directly into that. I'm sure.
They already showed us Purgles, and they showed us Zeb. They're kind of easing us into the live action version of this kind of stuff. They're kind of like testing the waters. I'm sure everybody's excited about Zeb, but so they can be like, okay, good. We'll just keep the design for Ahsoka, and we're good. Yeah. And let the people know about the Purgles in live action, so that people, when they show up in Ahsoka, people aren't like, what the fuck is this shit?
Space whales? What's
it is wild that the 2 weirdest alien things like that they could have in the Ahsoka show, they've already sort of teased out in this one. It's great.
Right. Cool. So next week, I think we're going to see Sabine. I'm calling it.
I think she's the one who got Gideon. Now that the more I think about it, I think she's the one who got Gideon.
Yeah. They're trying to get the Thrawn, I believe. I believe that's what's
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to say that it's Mandalorians under Thrawn, or like former Mandalorians or someone associated.
Or whatever.
Some
we'll
get
a mention,
like,
maybe.
Yeah, Super Commando thing, definitely.
Get a mention of Fulcrum.
Fulcrum mention would be wicked, yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to thank Eddie for joining us. I love having you on.
Thanks for having me.
I really do.
Thanks for having me.
I think you've been on every single one of our series, so we'll see you for Ahsoka.
Please.
Hopefully.
Please.
If you want to talk about that show. We actually, instead of speculating, when we actually see some shit. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for everybody who joined us in the chat.
Oh, I do want to see the Bendu. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Scott D mentions it here.
The Bendu.
Is that the big yak thing in the sky?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, on the planet.
That'd be tough.
What's his name? One of the old Doctor Who's was the voice.
Yeah.
It's
not light or dark.
Baker.
He's the Bendu.
Baker.
Simon
Yeah.
Baker?
Tom Baker. Tom Baker. Yeah.
I don't know who Simon is. I don't even like Doctor Who.
No,
I tried watching it. I just can't do it.
I've never seen an episode, but you know.
I mean, not to be a bad nerd, but don't see an episode. You're good.
Don't.
I feel so bad because so many people like it, and I don't like yucking other people's yums, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I've watched some episodes that are better than others, and there's some enjoyable stuff in there, but it's just not.
It's like that when people talk about Power Rangers. To me, I'm like, I don't know what you see when I can't.
Oh, by the way, can I just say, like, I was way too old to watch Power Rangers, and I love Power Rangers, and I'm excited about the new one.
I just think Voltron when I see Power Rangers. I'm like, you're just ripping off Voltron.
Yeah. I mean, they were all that kind of shit. They all did that stuff.
I know.
But But like based on listening to the Ralph report, like it sounds like Ralph watched a lot of Power Rangers, and he's definitely older than me.
He's 10 years older than me, and I was in college when Power Rangers was on. I'm like, I'm not watching.
It's crazy. For a guy who shits on every fandom that Eddie likes, it's really weird. He really has a lot of Power Rangers knowledge.
Knows a lot about Power Rangers.
A lot.
Not just casual knowledge, like in-depth knowledge of Power Rangers.
They dropped a trailer last week, and Ralph was going on and on about how the original voice of Rita Repulsa's back, and I'm like, why the fuck are the words Rita Repulsa coming out of Ralph's mouth? That dude's like 15 years older than me, and I was like in high school, and I knew, I'm not going to let anybody know I watch this because this is embarrassing. But I love Power Rangers, and I love that Ralph, who shits on, he'll shit on he likes Star Wars, but he'll shit on, I think he's just to get your goat. He'll shit on it.
Our relationship is antagonistic, so whatever one person likes, the other person automatically has to dislike.
Right.
Yeah. It's the honeymooners. Food. That's what the show is. It's the honeymooners.
Yeah, like 100-year-old egg.
Yeah.
That you're like, I'm not eating a 100-year-old egg. And he's like, oh, come on, it sounds delicious. No way that sounds delicious, dude.
It's purple and green. You shouldn't eat an egg that's purple and green and black.
And you guys eat it. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's delicious. Bullshit. So he's got to be choked. You guys ate dog food once.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We ate chocolate-covered cicadas.
I would rather eat that.
We had wings in our teeth.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that's great.
That was so good. I'll have more of these.
There's no way.
Huh.
Baffles me.
I'm Ed Norton. He's Ralph Cramden. That's how it works.
Yeah. Right. And he abuses you.
Yeah.
To know
how it works. The honeymooners.
Anyway, check out the Ralph Report. It's a daily show. It's great. It's $3.
15 cents a day.
Yeah, well, not this week.
No, not this week, but
yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Eddie. We'll have you back for.
Please, I'd love to come back.
If you're not tired
Star
of
Wars, anytime.
And then
I should be back without a delay next week. Back in the UK.
Get a hard line.
I'm gonna see.
Time.
We don't have a guest set up, but I'm gonna see if we can get somebody. Let's try to get somebody on here.
That'd be cool.
So yeah.
And then in 2 weeks' time, I'll be talking about all the stuff. Well, we'll all be talking about the stuff that we announced at Celebration, as well as.
Are you going to Celebration? Are you going to go?
Yeah. I'm going to.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
He lives over there.
Yeah,
so
I know. That's what I was wondering. Like, we were here last year. We got to.
It'd be rude not to.
Yeah. All righty.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Sorry, I feel like I've been really quiet this week, but you know why. I'm going to go get some sun. Good. Don't give it to hate.
Celebrate the love. I didn't set this up. Yeah. Eddie, you want to say punch it?
Punch it.